Hello, welcome back. Thought we would do something a bit different this week. I thought instead of doing painting, I would go through some books that I've read. So I'm a real big reader anyway, and this year I was like, right, I'm going to do a book a week. So the aim was 52 books for the year, which I am on my way to do. And I thought I would just talk through some of the books that I've read, ones that I've liked. I'm not going to focus on ones I didn't like. I just thought let's talk about the standout ones. There's going to be a couple here that are ones you will know of anyway, the classics, and then some newer ones. And then I also bought some books last week at a local place for like 50p a book, so I'll go through those. But yeah, so what I do anyway is when I've read a book, I have like a log, a notebook where I write all of the books that I've read in it, and then it's kind of like doing a Goodreads but without the review, and it just brings me so much joy, and I don't need to rely on like an online thing or an app, so I don't need to change it, and it's literally just a notebook of all the books. And I've been doing this since 2017 and I just love it. I recently this year got a new notepad and then wrote up all of them. They were just on scraps of paper before, and I can see all of the books I've read, how many books I've read each year, and I would highly recommend doing it. It also really helps if you're someone that's quite competitive or likes achieving or doing a lot. I just think it really spurs me on to read more. So I think I've read about 45 books so far this year, and some of them, I'm just going to go through the ones I've got here. There's other ones that I would really recommend. I'm going to try and not spoil any of the endings of any of them. I'm just going to say whether or not I think they were a good read and the overall vibe of them, so you can decide if you want to read them. I think all of these are ones you'll be able to pick up on eBay or Amazon or a bookshop really affordably, so you don't need to go and spend £10 on a book, and I just think it's the best thing ever. So let's start with I'm going to start with just a classic one. So my sister-in-law and I were reading these. This is Lord of the Rings. I think the first one, The Fellowship, was a book club one, and this is just the second one. I don't know where the first one is. It's downstairs somewhere. We read the first one as a book club book. Everyone enjoyed it. It's very similar to the films, I would say, the first one. But I've really enjoyed them. I read The Hobbit years and years ago when I was younger, and I found that quite hard going. But I think now I just enjoyed them. I enjoyed the second one more than the first one because the first one was close to the films. And I think I've watched the films quite a few times, so it was like kind of samey. But yeah, I would recommend. It's like an oldie, and I think a lot of people put you off because everyone's comments on, oh, it's quite hard going. But honestly, nice cup of tea, sit down, chill out. We've got the winter's drawing in now, so it's perfect time. So yeah, I'd recommend the Lord of the Rings. I do have the last one to read, so maybe I'll do an update on the last one. I feel like that one's going to be the most different from the films, because normally, you know, they start off quite similar on the first book, same with Harry Potter, and then it sort of the gap widens. And I played all of the Lord of the Rings games and everything on PlayStation 2, so I was into that. So yeah, read it, do it, enjoy it. Nice cup of tea, nice snack. Next one, I think this was the next one we read. So it's King Rat. Again, this book, reading this, don't know if you can see, it was literally falling apart, so it was a bit of a mission. But this is a book my husband loves, and there's the author. I think he's also done Shogun, which I believe they've now done on Netflix. I think Netflix has made a series on Shogun, and it's really popular. I've still got the Shogun to read, but this one really enjoyed. This is a standalone one. It's about a prisoner of war camp. Don't let that put you off. There is some horrific things, but I found it so insightful, just in terms of obviously how they lived. You can kind of imagine to a degree, but the mindset that they have when they're in there and the way that they all live together, it's just really recommend. This was a page turner. I really enjoyed it. There is some hard to read things, but it's part of our history, so I don't think we should shy away from things that are difficult. I wouldn't say that there's anything in there that's particularly difficult to read that doesn't add to the story. So they haven't just got horrific bits in there with sort of no storyline develop. And for me, the bit right at the end, I won't spoil it, there's a bit right at the end that really, really sticks in my mind that just sort of summarises it all. But yeah, read it. King Rat, James Clavell, King Rat. You'll be able to pick that up online, probably fairly affordable. Next one, Jamaica Inn. This was another book club one. One of the ladies at book club, she's raved about this author. So Daphne du Maurier, she's a Cornish author. Everyone knows Jamaica Inn. It's a fairly popular book. There's also still the pub Jamaica Inn is still there. I haven't been to it. We do need to go and do that. But yeah, when she recommended it, I was like, oh, I don't know. You know when people are too enthusiastic about recommending a book, and sometimes I find that a bit off-putting because I felt like it was hyped up a lot. Loved it, honestly. It's very gritty, dark. I feel like a miserly, rainy day, sort of autumn, winter. Really, really loved it. It's one of those books that creates like an ambience. It created a feeling, like when I think back to what that happened in the story, I don't necessarily remember all the plot line. This is just how I work. But I remember the feeling. I feel like if a book can give you a distinct feeling, you remember that book. You almost like have a place for it. So loved it. Honestly, would reread. There was loads of stuff as well that I didn't know about Cornwall and sort of. I won't spoil it, but culture, I guess, and how times were. I can't remember when it's actually filmed, when it's set, but yeah, loved it. Also touches upon struggles of women and things like that in those times, in terms of like, obviously we relied on men for protection and stuff like that, where, you know, it was hard being, I mean it still is, but yeah, our ancestors, they had a hard time. So while we're doing Daphne du Maurier, I then saw this down in Coverack, down in Cornwall, saw Rebecca, which my friend who recommended her, I believe said this was her favourite one, and I saw it and I was like, wow, I better get it. So I think it was like £5 or something. Loved it. Highly recommend. Yeah, it's so insightful. It's kind of about a couple. It's a bit romantic. Again, it's dark. There's twists to it. But yeah, the mindset that you're going through, you're very much in her mind when you're going through the story. It's been made into a film. We did watch the film. I watched the film with my husband just to see like how much it was different. The film was very, very similar. I think the ending was slightly different, but really definitely recommend the book over the film. Obviously it's normally always the way, isn't it? But the film was very good. I think there's a newer one, but there's a Hitchcock film of it, so obviously Hitchcock does great films, but really recommend Rebecca. Like, I want to forget this book so I can reread it. Really enjoyed that one. So yeah, this was another book club one, Pride and Prejudice. Obviously this is such a hyped up book, isn't it? It's such a classic, and I did think, oh, is it going to be one of those books? I loved it. Do you know what? I have not had a book that's made me feel giggly. You know, it's like romance, but it's so many books nowadays, when there's like a romance scene, it's so in your face and everything else. And I just thought I just loved it. I would 100% reread this book. This book is not going anywhere. It made me like giggle. There's a bit halfway between it, which I won't spoil, but it just shows as well, it's like women of those times, and also how relationships were set up, romance, how it was so close it nearly didn't happen. And I just loved it. I love the coy. I love the you know, holding back with your words, but also speaking your mind was so outrageous in those times. And love a willful female character, you know, here for it. So yeah, Pride and Prejudice. It's only a small read. I don't think it would take you long. Lovely little book. see if you giggle as much as I did. It made me giggle. I'm not a giggly person, but yeah, I found it to be exciting. Now we're going to go off on to a total different one. Trainspotting. So again, this has been made into the film. I would highly recommend the film. The film is really, really good. There is moments on it. So it's set in Scotland, and it's all about drug culture in Scotland at the time. I can't remember when it was. Is it 80s or something? 80s or 90s drug scene in Scotland. I think it's just when the HIV was sort of coming around and everything. And then it's just all of their lives and interactions. It is written, no, it's not written in Scottish, or maybe it is, but you read it, it's quite hard to understand. When I was reading it, the best advice I've got is read it quickly. It makes more sense. You can then speak in Scottish, if that makes sense. But it is a bit hard going, but it was, again, very insightful into that crowd. And also drug addiction, if you're someone who's experienced drug addiction or had anyone with alcohol, drug addiction within the family, there's aspects of it you can see. It's not a straightforward thing, and it is all to do with like culture, society, trauma, history. But I really, really liked it. Also, it confused me when I was reading it, as you're going along, it's reading from different characters' point of views. So I think I don't know if it's like 5 of them or so, but it's like this chapter's from this person's. And I just love that the writer, when you're reading it, you can totally embody that other character. Like, you feel his personality coming through in the writing and what he says. So it's very distinct, and I really enjoyed that. And it gave you, if you're watching a film, it's like seeing it from every person's different angle, as opposed to narrating a story. It's first person for each of the different people within the story. But yeah, it is gritty. There's some upsetting bits. Again, none of it is just for shock drama. It's all to do with the story. But yeah, I found it. I enjoyed it. It was a difficult read though. I did struggle more, and I don't know if that's just because of the Scottish element to it, but no, I did read it, and again, classic. But I do think with Trainspotting, the film did such a good job. So if you're someone who would struggle with reading, with it being sort of written in Scottish, then watch the film. The film, I think, did a really, really good job, and it's really close to the book. So yeah, recommend that. And then the last one that I was going to go through is one that I was bought for book club. So one of the girls at book club's got us all a book for Christmas, and it's this one, The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder by C.L. Miller. I really didn't have any expectations when I was reading this book. Love a murder book. Really easy to read, quick pace, really good writing. I think the writing is really, really good in this, just in terms of it's easygoing, it pulls you in, you like the characters, the character development is good, and I just thoroughly loved every aspect of this book. This book was the book that I was in a way most surprised about, because I just thought, it's just going to be, it's not going to be groundbreaking, but I loved it. I think I even read it in like a day or something, an evening, because it was so good. And straight away I was thinking, this is an author I'm gonna go see what other books she's done. I think it's her parents are antique dealers, so there's loads of elements in there about like antiques. I think in there one of the people owns an antique shop, or well, I won't spoil or say anything, but someone owns an antique shop, so then they're kind of like within the antiques world. And I just think that adds so much colour to the story, is having someone who has in-depth knowledge about something, making that like, it's not the focal point, but it's like key without it. But yeah, really recommend. It's like an easy, quick read. I can't remember how many pages it is, 350 pages, but yeah, really recommend that one. That one was great. So they were the main ones. I do have some other books this year that I want to go through, and I can talk to you about I'll do it next time because I didn't want to have too many books in one go. But yeah, they were just some that I would really recommend. Obviously some older ones, some classics, and then some newer ones. And then I just thought I'd run through. So this was last weekend we went out, and there was, you know, when it's like 50p per book. I'm a sucker for them. I always come away with loads. So these are some books I'm going to read. I probably won't be reading them this year because I've got a stack of books within the house I'm trying to work my way through. This is The Devil's Domain, which looks really, these are all murder books. I sucker for murder books. This looks really, really good. It's in 1380, a Frenchman is murdered in Hawkmere Manor, a lonely, gloomy dwelling place, otherwise known as the Devil's Domain. Ready for it. Then I got this one, which is Frankenstein Lost Souls. The master storyteller creates a bold new legend and a powerful reworking of one of the classic stories of all time. So we read the Frankenstein for book club, I think maybe last year, and I really enjoyed it. And I just thought, look, let's go for it. Let's see. So that, I'm excited for that one. And then the last one, again, you know, I shouldn't be buying books, but anyway, what can we say? There's this one. So Lucy Foley, she's done, she's been in the, well, not in the news, she's been popular recently, I would say the last like 5 years or so, maybe longer, so don't quote me on that. She did, I think it's called The Wedding Party, which is, these are all murder mysteries, is about a wedding party that goes to this remote island, I think it's off Scotland, and then like someone gets killed and whodunit, which is good. And then The Hunting Party, which is, I think it's Christmas, it may be like a Scottish castle or something, and someone dies, and I love that one. For me personally, The Hunting Party I think is really, really good. I don't think The Wedding Party's that good, but then, you know, I just love the vibe. Christmas, snowing, in a castle, like, yes. So this one's called The Midnight Feast. Welcome to the Manor, the party's on fire. So anyway, look, I'm just, autumn is all about murder. I shouldn't really be reading these because I should be reading the books that I need to get through. So I've got all of the books in the household and I've sorted them into piles of books I've read, books I haven't, and then I'm trying to just work my way through. And I keep buying more books and adding to it, but I probably will squeeze those in just because got to have a bit of murder, haven't we? So no, I'm excited. That's why you've just got to not look at those book piles when you go out because it's dangerous. But $150 for 3 books, how many hours worth of entertainment? And then you can pass them on to your friends or keep them or reread them. So anyway, that's it for today. I just thought I would go through that. I hope that was interesting. I'm probably going to do this quite regular if everyone's keen, just because I'm reading them anyway, and I think it's nice to do a shout out of the best ones. And then there's nothing better, is there, than getting a book, being recommended a book, and it actually being really, really good. So I'll only talk about the ones that I really, really recommend, and not ones that I don't think were worth it. So anyway, let me know if you've read any of these, and if you agree, and if you disagree, let me know, because I love knowing why, like what didn't you like about them, if there's any of these you didn't like. But great, I will see you soon. Bye.